computer. So welcome everybody. We're going to try a second attempt for the 12.2 upgrade for the Geo HA cluster. Let me share my screen and then we get started. Okay, you should see now my screen where I have the secondary and the primary node open on the Geo Admin page. So they're both healthy. I didn't verify this. Let me quickly check. Your projects. I have one project that is being mirrored and it should be updated. So Inkscape was updated 8 hours ago. Is that the same on the primary? Updated 22 minutes ago according to, yeah, then it was the last time it checked for new upgrades, but the last commit is from 10 hours ago. So this seems fine. So we're good to go.
Super.
I have the documentation here. It's the update. It's the version from the merge request we're working on at the moment, or are still not merged yet. So we're going to follow that. I have my terminal windows open for each machine. So on the left side are the primary machines, and on the right side are the secondary, with one more being the Postgres tracking database. So let's get going. Multi-node HA deployment with Geo. Okay, update the Geo primary multi-node deployment. On all nodes, create an empty file, skip auto reconfigure. One thing to note, maybe I have normally the skip Postgres upgrade is present. I don't know where in the doc is that again. Geo updates. Let me quickly double check these files still exist. So 12.1. So this file should already exist. Yes. So I assume they all remained there on the machine because I didn't delete them, and I hope no one else did. So we're sure we're only doing the GitLab upgrade and not the Postgres upgrade in the same run. Next, the reconfigure should also be there. That's on all nodes. Now, it's maybe something to note, but all nodes means all primary nodes, I assume. I guess we're redoing the.
Yes, it says. I think the heading is like updating the Geo secondary multi-node deployment.
Yeah, well, the same as in the secondary section, but yeah, it might be worthy to explicitly say do it on the primary nodes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we had that in, but then we changed it at some point because people felt that there's a lot of repetition.
Okay.
But I personally think we could make a on all nodes in brackets on the primary cluster, similar to what we have. Yeah, like I'll just make a note.
Yeah, okay. So this is I will be using app 01 as the deploy node, and all other nodes need to have this line in the GitLab RB. Now the question is, are we going to do that manually or try to be smart again? I don't trust myself again. So I think in many cases it was already there, but to be sure, let's follow the instructions. Configure. Oh, this one is already good. Let's make sure we have reconfigured. this one also. Okay, so we do that on all other nodes. I have done a reconfigure. Which version are we updating to? Okay, packages, GitLab, PE. 12.2. It's still 12.2.8. Aha, the command. Aha, cool.
Oh, that's new, I think.
Okay, back to the instructions. So we first do, let me make sure, on the deploy node, yes, sudo apt get update. And then this one. Okay, now it has to download the package. It takes a little while.
Yeah. I spoke with a friend of mine yesterday, and he, has to work on Windows at the moment. And every time I see package managers, I'm so happy that they exist. I guess it makes everything so much easier.
Don't they have, how was it called, Chocolate on Windows or something like that? Mm-hmm. Or and one other tool, I'm not sure about the name.
Did you also retrieve a beverage of choice within a drinkable temperature range?
Wow, that's a very good point. Well, it's empty now, but I didn't check the box yet. Where is my issue to make sure I did? So retrieve a beverage, check the box. Well, it's empty already, but we did hit record. And we're now working on the upgrade steps. Thanks for the reminder, Fabian.
No problem. I just looked at the issue itself and chuckled a little bit.
It's a really good one. I have some sparkling water here.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Still unpacking, so we have to wait for a little while.
What window manager do you use? i3?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not very handy with it, but it gets the job done.
Yeah. I used Awesome for a long time. That was pretty good.
That's from Suckless, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Isn't it? They have like a really simple web page and stuff. I really like the style they're using. Like no hassle, just to the point.
Yes.
And I really enjoy that. So next step is do the reconfigure with skipping the post-deployment migrations. Let's go. I'm keeping the Geo Notes admin page open to see if anything changes there. Yeah, it took me quite a while to compile a set of these windows together.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a lot of manual things you need to get in line.
Yeah, you can automate it, but it won't probably not worth the effort. It's the insert XKDC comic.
Yeah.
So these are the migrations. Mm-hmm. I hope they're only the normal migrations. I assume so. Okay. Request with 500. So how is the primary node feeling? Yeah, last time I was checking if I could see like info in the load balancer, which of the two app nodes was healthy or they both were, but I couldn't find this in the Google Cloud Console. So it should be possible. I don't know where. Because I would assume like if we're doing the upgrade on 01, 02 still should remain healthy.
Yeah. So what does this say?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a good question.
So
before we started to reconfigure, it did do a PostgreSQL version check, if I'm not mistaken. Checking PostgreSQL executables. Well, I'm not sure it checks the version, maybe just the presence of it. So
well, you can look at the Postgres version in the admin interface.
Oh, is it in there?
Mm-hmm. If you go to general, not in the Geo nodes.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay. That is what it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, what we expected. Let me first call to the logs to see what was happening. Check permissions. So I usually just check for the green lines. Just some configuration upgrading. Also the GitLab YAML. Okay, I think that's fine. Version, revision. SSL certificates, Redis configuration. It's being restarted. That should be fine, I guess. Execute Ruby block warn. Pending PostgreSQL restart. So it did expect a PostgreSQL restart. I'm not sure why.
I mean, it shouldn't restart it, right? Because we skipped the upgrade and we skipped the post-deployment migrations, right?
Yeah. A lot of migrations, it's fine. Clear the cache. Well, and this is something that I've noticed already, that sometimes Unicorn and Sidekick is already restarted, but we have another issue about that. Unicorn configurations to have more workers. That's something I've seen in the release post notes or in the notes for the upgrading to 12.2, so that's correct. But that shouldn't change anything. Version workhorse, fine. So there's nothing besides the PostgreSQL restart notice that is weird, I guess.
I mean, I would say we should probably make a note that this thing, so the complaint is the version of, yeah, can you maybe just copy this warning so that we know that that is happening?
Or an issue, or well, go to the issue.
Yeah, I would just put it in the
Okay, it's in the issue.
Yeah.
So what? Shall we restart it now, or?
Well, restarting imposes downtime, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say no.
It's odd. Now I'm thinking about it, because if I check GitLab, GitLab control status, that it's even running Postgres. It's an application node. It shouldn't be running Postgres. We have Postgres over here.
Yes.
So that might be like a configuration issue, but I cannot remember. Maybe it's so we have the application wall here, and that's according to documentation. But I would expect that an application wall would not
Run Postgres.
Yeah, so we have to double check that. But I'm not gonna restart Post. Well, it wouldn't matter anyway because it's not connecting to this PostgreSQL anyway. So
yeah.
I
so maybe just Googling. I mean, it's a question to ask, right? Why that is, maybe for the distribution folks. But I would say we can leave it as it is right now, right? Because we.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as it is and do the upgrade on the other nodes. So we have all the other nodes, and we are upgrading the package here. Copy. Here we go.
It's a really interesting process actually, to me, just understanding what is happening here.
Okay, so did we intentionally remove these steps from this one, or is it just?
I think we did. I thought they were supposed to go at the end.
Well, when we did do the apt get install, it did restart Unicorn and Sidekick, but I'm not sure that's always the case. But if that would not be the case, I think we would better like restart them on the deploy node first, and then do the upgrades on the other nodes.
1 second, because I think there was a long thread on this.
Yeah, I was not able to keep up with all happening in the merge request.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot of discussion, right? I would have to. I thought there was a discussion to say like you should do the like hub bits at the end, sort of after everything else is done.
Well, I wouldn't do them synchronously on both application nodes, because then one cannot take over while the other one is restarting. So
yeah, no, I think that is true, right? For Well, I think this is similar though to the instructions on the zero downtime upgrades for multi-node HA deployments, non-geo. So they also do like deploy node installation, skip auto migration, install on everything not the deploy node, reconfigure, and then do this. So I think this is pretty similar.
Well, yeah, I agree. Not sure if it's the right thing to do, but
yeah, no, but that's a valid comment. When would you put it?
On all. I would put it after reconfigure on a node that is running Unicorn or Sidekick. Maybe we can dig into this later, but
yeah.
At the moment my nodes aren't healthy, so maybe we should not continue before we do we're sure about this. So this node, this is nice. So we, I think the merge request about this happening, it was merged already, so that's cool.
Yep.
Okay, the version mismatch is there, that's no problem, but I'm not sure why we have a 500 here.
I don't know. So are they updating the nodes at the moment?
Yeah, the nodes are, they have like download the packages, but they don't have it reconfigured yet, so they're not running yet. But we had this unhealthy state before I started that, and I should have made sure that the healthy state would have happened before this. No, I
think
yeah. This is a problem with the load balancing. Let me see. Yeah, I refresh the page. The behavior is different. And so that's the thing with the load balancing. So the assets are not always, that's what you get. Assets are like served from one or the other. And then the version with the assets does not match like the front, like the code of the Rails code with it. And then you get stuff like this.
Okay. But yeah, I think this is maybe a general problem for the zero downtime upgrades then, right? And how the load balancing works.
So what I can do is source. API. What I have been doing is using the API to connect to the nodes and see like what the status is from the API. That should be gives the same thing. So API v4, no, it's not the right endpoint. Geo nodes. One status, I think. Could not resolve 83. Okay.
Oh, you have a double, yeah.
Ah, yeah. My terminal sometimes messes up. Internal server error. So that's what we're getting. You see, and this is probably served from the other application node. And I think we could even like, how are they called again? So you have app 01 and app 02. Oh, app 01 is healthy and app 2 is not.
And app 01 is the one that we already upgraded, right?
Yeah.
And reconfigured, whereas app 02 is the one that is currently upgraded but not reconfigured yet.
So GitLab tail, how is it working again? GitLab control tail is it? I hope you will see the error here. Or maybe you can first trigger it. Production JSON. Oh yeah, so the load balancer is checking the readiness node. That's what we see here. Here we have a backtrace of what is happening. Oh, no. The readiness node also fails, I think. Okay, huge backtrace. This is from Grape, so this is from the API. So when we reach it, we should be able to see what's happening. This is another error. I think I reported an issue somewhere. But I cannot recall the issue exactly again. Should I look it up or?
Yeah, I think either record it in the issue and just say like, there's this error, I think there's an issue, and we can do it later.
Okay. Maybe I just. Yeah. Grape. No. Grape. Where's the issue? I think I even could like check out.
1 second. So I'm now trying to log in on the app 02 node directly to see like what's the state of it. And so it doesn't load the assets.
Yeah, it's expecting the different because there is a hash in the name of the assets and that mismatches and then it cannot find them. So probably when we network inspect. .404. So these are style sheets. So yeah, I'm really curious how like normal HA installations deal with this.
I have a suspicion exactly in the same way as we are now, because we haven't done anything yet. That is specifically different from a normal HA upgrade.
Yeah, so let's skip this now and continue with the process.
Yep.
Next up, so I did do this command and I can reconfigure them now. All of them, right?
Yep, on all other nodes, not the deploy node.
Again, someone complaining of PostgreSQL. We dealt with that already. This one is the PostgreSQL node, and yeah, I'm not feeling too happy about that. But let me first look at the Redis node to see what's happening here.
I think this is reported. This is a known issue with Redis. I think, let me quickly have a look. Like I'm bad at the moment finding my issues.
Yeah, I know the feeling. You can have those days when you're usually your browser is helping you a lot, but when some days that isn't.
Yeah. So let me have a look. Because I've seen this before for sure.
Well, I'm making a note in the issue already, then we can start the conversation from there.
Yeah, but I believe that the only thing that you need to do is to actually restart or like rerun the configure.
Are you sure, or can I do that, or are you still looking for something?
Like, give me a second because I...
Yeah, sure.
It's Redis no auth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it. So is the error rake aborted, command error, no auth, authentication required?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can just run reconfigure again, and then it will work.
That's it complete.
Yeah.
And it's on the cache command. Clear the cache. Okay, well, let's trace that in the issue.
Yeah,
at meantime, I was looking at PostgreSQL, and then I was checking like the version that is installed is 9.6.14, which I think is strange because I see 9.6.11 over here.
yes. So
yeah, it seems like the skip Postgres version does not skip the
minor releases.
Yeah. So it skips the upgrade from 9 to 10, but not from 9.6.11 to 9.6.14.
Great. I would say that is unexpected to me.
Yeah. Well, the difference is the database format for doing this upgrade is not changing. So there are less steps to take to do this upgrade compared to from 9.6 to 10.
Sure.
But yeah, it still might cause downtime, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably fine to continue running this, right, as is, but you will need to restart eventually, right, and that will cause downtime.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm not sure. I wanted to say something, but I forgot. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this upgrade was done for a security reason. So I wonder what our advice about this should be.
Well, I think, I mean, the thing is that I think the advice is that some upgrades, potentially even including security upgrades, will impose downtime, right? But that should be known, right? As in, it's kind of unavoidable, right? But you could say that, hey, if you do this, you will need to do it, at a time that is convenient for you, because many of our enterprise customers can't just do this whenever they do this in their downtime.
Yeah, let me quickly make a note. So this okay, so we keep it running and just continue with the process.
I think so.
Yeah, it's fine. So as far as I know, we're ready with the primary stuff now, or at least for now. So let me switch screens.
So what about the rerunning of Hub Unicorn? Yeah, these two things.
Yeah, I don't think they're necessary because they already did restart. So I see here in the logs, Unicorn and Sidekicks are restarted. And just as a check, so now this endpoint works again. So that's a good thing.
So are these instructions superfluous? Can we get rid of them, or do we need to?
Yeah, I tracked it in the issue somewhere because for deployments on GitLab.com, they're doing a bunch of checks whether they need to do Hub or not. So they check in the Postgres in the reconfigure logs if this line is in the logs, and they're checking also. I think they're comparing like the process ID from the Unicorn they had before they did the reconfigure and after that, and see if it changed. And if it didn't, then they still do the Hub from the Ansible playbooks.
Okay, so it's essentially safer to keep it in. even though at this point we don't need it.
Yeah, but that's a discussion we had a little bit earlier about, like, we don't want them to do this step on all application machines at the same time, because then it would be a problem.
So maybe we should add a note saying like hot reload, Unicorn, or cyclic services on all nodes, but do it sequentially, right? Otherwise you will get downtime.
And now I'm thinking about it, but that's probably a bigger problem with like the whole HA stuff. So when we saw, like, when we only did upgrade the first application node, we saw that the second node wasn't really healthy. And yeah, I guess our health checks should be smarter to pick that up. But if you then have the load balancer not sending any traffic to the application, to the second application node, we have a problem when we would do the hub on the primary. So yeah, but that's the discussion you already had with Camille, I think.
Yeah, I would say, like, it's probably okay to leave it. That's you know, and then there are wider problems to discuss it to discuss.
Yeah.
By the way, welcome, Valerie. I didn't know you joined.
Yeah, I also saw participants 3 a little bit ago.
Hey.
Okay, if everybody's good with this, I'm gonna continue with doing the upgrade on the secondary multi-node deployment. This is the right section, I think. Let me double check. So, skip auto reconfigure on all nodes. There we are. Wait, is this really correct? Oh, right. And node setting Geo secondary false on all non-deployed nodes and is not strictly required. Is it really useful to have this here?
I don't know. We can remove it if.
Well, I think this should read like a happy path. Do this and you're always safe.
Yeah, that's fair. So it's like that we can maybe make a comment like internally, but yeah.
There's probably like a result of a discussion like, well, is it necessary, is it not necessary? But
I think I like the idea of removing it because it's already long, and I mean, this is not really helping anybody make a decision, right? It's like, if it's not strictly required, but we still want it to be done, let's just do it in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then when somebody really wants to know, we say like, well, it's not strictly required, but you know.
Okay, so so on all other nodes, we have to add this line to GitLab RB. Oh, this is already here.
Yeah. Why don't you just cat this into the fire?
Why would that be? Then I can see if it's already there. But it can be like up a little bit higher in the file, so it's not really. Well, we could like write the instructions to do it with cat. Well, I'm not sure everybody will be happy with that.
Nah, I think it's better to state what needs to happen rather than give the implementation on how to do it. You know? If people want to like byte-wise append something, you know, I'm sure.
So these all these have like the Rails auto-migrate files, but I think it is implied by the Geo secondary wall. But yeah, that's something for the setup docs whenever we're doing those.
on app 02, could you just show me the config again? Yeah, okay.
I can run reconfigure to make sure it's applied, but I'm pretty sure it already is.
Yeah, we did.
So on the deploy node, let's do an apt get update. Then I need this command again. And then we wait.
Yeah, I'll quickly go to the bathroom. The setting up of GitLab.
Yeah, who knows what that does. Okay, what's the status of our nodes? Maybe I should run this on the secondary. Yeah, we're probably again hopping between the two application nodes. Huh, interesting. I guess the JSON request for this data for filling this page was from the other sent to the other machine, and then yeah. Okay, let's not focus on that because we know that's a thing. Okay. Let's continue. Where's my documentation? Deploy node. We did this, and now we do the reconfigure while we're skipping the post-deployment migrations.
Yeah.
So this might run some migrations on a tracking database, but only the normal migrations and no post-deployment.
And if that succeeds, which it just did, I think what we will observe is in the next upgrade phase, the Redis node will fail again at the reconfigure stage.
Well, then we know what an issue is already. Quickly browse through. looks like about the same as what's happening on the primary node. Next, we do the upgrade on all other nodes. Where's my update? I'm lazy. To be honest, I think you could run these two steps on all machines together.
Yes, I think you can, if you really wanted to. But
yeah, I don't think I would advise that because it would make rollbacks harder. But
I think it's safer to do it sequentially. But I think I've at least done it or seen it once done in parallel, and it was fine. But
well, if we wouldn't have had too much discussion on what was happening, then it still would be easily possible to do within an hour, I guess.
yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, let's not praise the day before this is actually done.
Yeah, sorry. That's true. I agree.
I think the happy path is, we just follow through those steps and everything is healthy. And if you didn't discuss anything, like the runtime itself is certainly under an hour if you have the right setup, which is great. I think what I would like to arrive here is a documentation that we believe, if you follow it, is very solid, right? And then we can talk about improvements and automations and all of those things.
Yeah, totally agree.
Because I mean, the fact that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows open in parallel, right, is from a usability perspective a little bit daunting, right?
Yeah. It's very easy to make mistakes. So I'm not sure what the best way to advise this would be, except other than automating this.
Yes, it should be automated. Or you always invite a lucky charm like Valerie, who can just be on the call, and then magically everything works.
Is that Valerie's superpower?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
There's a German word for it. It's called the Vorführ effect. Essentially, something breaks only when you show it to other people. And so Valerie's superpower is to counter the Vorführ effect.
Okay. Let me run reconfigure on these machines while we keep talking.
I predict Redis failure.
It's a little bit spooky to do it. Do we do a normal reconfigure on the other machines also? Yeah. Yeah, we really need to get rid of this, but I'm looking into that issue.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can put it in the GitLab RB and then.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Where was I again? On all other nodes? Sorry. Yes, this step, huh? Redis failed. Okay, so let me double check. Unicorn and Sidekick did restart, and for some reason also the Geo cursor did restart. That's the same here. So we didn't explicitly shut it down, I guess, and then that's when it's running. Or is it intentional? Oh yeah, right. We're running the log cursor on both app nodes in this configuration. So that's correct.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's weird because like you see here, Gitly on the Gitly node is also hubbed automatically. So I would expect like GitLab reconfigure knows when to hub things.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense in a way.
So why these instructions are still here, I'm not sure, but we've seen these and we've seen this one, so that's cool. So I think we can skip it for now.
Yeah.
And move on with the post-deployment migrations and checks. On the deploy node on the primary cluster. So we have to go back to this window and, okay, this one. Geo. Wait, let me quickly abort this and have it. Yeah, it was still loading.
My nerves, man.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. I wanted to make sure like the. I was expecting it to be completely healthy now. Why is it still reporting the old version?
It's a good question. Is it cached?
This one is good.
I think maybe if you just.
Oh yeah, there's a timeout. There's like the caching thing is still happening, so it might take a minute or 5, I think.
I've never seen this error message here, but it is actually completely correct.
The Geo database version does not match the latest migration. What are we advising our customers to do with this message?
Well, if you follow the instructions, this is after the DB migrations on the primary. You run exactly that command on the secondary.
Yeah, I think it's. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was expecting it would be like with the, but that's the FDW. That's another thing. And now the status has not been updated for the past 5 minutes.
That will go away eventually.
I know.
It's like I've had that when I upgrade like single deployments. I was just like, is this bad? Is this good? Why is this happening? But it is just fine.
Okay, so I'll go back and continue with the post migrations. Yeah, it's really hard to not single the user that the things are unhealthy, but yeah, they're like a Schrödinger cat, I guess, like something in between. Not healthy, not unhealthy, but something in between.
Yeah, it's like I think the user interface essentially says things are problematic, but they're not really problematic because we are in the middle of an upgrade, right? And I think that's maybe also a potential improvement to say like, hey, you're upgrading at the moment, you know, like this is not unnormal.
Yeah, but I wonder, like, I can imagine when the administrator is doing the upgrade, they want healthy nodes at some points during the process to make sure that whether they have to continue or fix the state before they continue.
Yes. So, yeah. In a way, the UI is not a correct reflection of the state that the system is in.
Yeah, and well, I think one thing maybe that to note is the caching. If I'm not mistaken, we removed that already in this release, or the previous one maybe also, but yeah, not in the one we were installing right here. So that might help also.
Yes.
Maybe we need to have some service mode or something where we handle those messages differently than in EU.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, Yeah, we can think about it. Okay, what's next? Verify. So on the deploy node, we do the. Well, let me open it here again. We do the checking. This indentation seems to be wrong here.
Oh yeah.
Geo check. Yes, Geo enabled. Yeah, we've spoken about. We have an issue about this that we wanted this.
I think this is yeah.
And all the rest, yeah, all the rest looks good. So now we move back to the secondary nodes and do the same thing, but with the tracking database. So we only check that on the deploy node. Is that correct? Because that's a little bit confusing from. I would expect we do that on all machines, but that's not how I read this.
I am in agreement with you. I read it as you just check it on the deploy node.
Well, I think it would be interesting to run it on all nodes. Anyway, it does not hurt. It's just nice to see like everything is fine. So meantime, also the post-deployment migration on the tracking database did happen. I'm not sure. Create table.
Well, I think we now found out why we only run it on the app servers.
Yeah, but I think this is just a configuration issue. Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense to run this on a Gitly node. That's another thing to note.
Well, I think, but you know, there's maybe some cleanup to do.
Cleanup about what?
Well, if I see this now, I'm like, there are exceptions everywhere that I don't understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it's fine. So if you run this on a Gitly node, it should either not work and say like, hey, this is not available on a Gitly node, or you know, actually produce a different output. Because this, I would say this would result in a support ticket, right? People would say, I ran this, I got all of these exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
Yeah, this is really weird. Like, this is not relevant for a Gitly node to the authorized keys command and stuff like that. I'm pretty fine for now to just document that.
Yes.
They shouldn't run it like that. Maybe they should run it on all application nodes.
Yes.
That's still interesting. I haven't seen this one before, but I just consider it a hiccup. I'm not really blocking for this moment.
No.
So the documentation makes sense at this point that it does not do this on all nodes, which is fine. One thing for the deploy nodes, how are people selecting a deploy node?
I think it can be any node.
Yeah, that's not entirely true because you cannot do it from the Gitly node because you don't have a database connection, for example.
So should we just say choose an application node? Because I've never seen anybody else choose anything other than an application node.
Yeah, this is not entirely correct.
So should we just say it can be any application node?
Well, I was thinking of that's correct. I'm not sure if that's the best choice. Like maybe if you like have like a sidekick node, that I think that would also be possible. And if you do that, then you would maybe not break the application nodes like we have seen with the app 1 and the app 2, that one of both was broken.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at least this what's stated here is not entirely correct.
Okay.
I would, yeah, it's probably safe to say an app node.
Yeah. Let me make a note.
But that's the same as just a non-geo deployment. Pick a node, it can be any node. So this is also not correct. That's why we have it.
Deploy node can't be any node. I think what we should do is like advise for a reasonable default, right? It's say like, sure, you can do it on a sidekick node or whatever, but just choose an application node if that is the, like, let's say, obvious choice.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't have that at this moment, but I know Stan noted somewhere that when you want to do the migrations, you also need to run that on a machine that has direct access to the Postgres database. Of course, if you're using a load balancer for Postgres, like or a rep manager, then that could also break.
And what node has direct access to Postgres?
Yeah, that's the question. Postgres itself, maybe. But that doesn't make sense.
So
yeah, we have to dig in a little bit.
Yeah.
But we can do that later.
Yeah.
I was looking at like the post-deployment migrations for Geo, and I'm really surprised that like create table that this happened in a post-deployment migration. I really doubt that. So I think the upgrade like we did not do like the normal migrations for the tracking database for some reason. Let me see if I can find that migration.
Yeah, I have to admit to you, you lost me now because I can't answer that at all.
Oh no, it's on the tracking database, right? Yeah, let me first look it up and then I'll try to explain again. Yeah. So this migration at container repository registry is a normal migration for the tracking database, and normal migrations normally should happen during the upgrade. So if you fall back to the documentation, when you do this, it skips the post-deployment migrations, but not the normal migrations, or it shouldn't. And it didn't do that, or is there a misconfiguration here? There's nothing particular in here that states that it should skip migrations. So I'm really curious where that goes wrong. If I would secondary HA, well, it's too late now to check if it was held before. So we have it reports container. Is there a container status in this endpoint? Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's make a note and move on. Where are we now? We did do the migrate on the secondary node. Now we can run like the geo check command. I'm not gonna do these ones because they will fail anyway. Okay, what do we have here? Yes, yes, yes. And now we have a foreign data wrapper that's out of date. What we did expect.
Yes.
It's using omnibus.
No,
Yeah,
this is wrong, and we've rewritten that already,
yeah.
right? So.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, everything is fine except for the FDW.
Yeah.
Did we like put it explicitly not in these documentation, or?
No, I think the question was if we wanted to fix it programmatically, but I think we won't be able to do that, at least for the first iteration.
Yeah.
And so I think we will just have to put it in after GeoDB migrate and essentially migrate the foreign data wrapper tables.
So now I have to look up Geo troubleshooting. Refresh this one. So we can do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then again, we'll have a caching issue that says it stays outdated for a little while. But other than that, I think we're up and running. Like the upgrade did succeed. Oh wow!
Well,
What's this?
I think you it needs to be run on a specific node.
Could not allow library. Sorry, should we run it on the tracking?
Yes, I believe so.
So this node did not load the Postgres extension, or how should I see this? That also failed.
On what node? I thought I had notes on this. I can't quite remember.
Could it be related to the Postgres that should have been updated or restarted?
I'm not sure.
It shouldn't be, but that would be my guess.
I'm just wondering where. One second. Let me just try. I'm not sure where this needs to be run.
I believe it should be run on an application node because it has a
Yeah.
Can you scroll up the message on the application node? Because I don't see the actual error message. Okay, thank you.
Can you, I think I have a note. Can you rerun the command on the application node?
So just rerun it.
Yes. Does it fail again?
It's still loading build. Same error.
Okay. I think the node that I found I think Douglas restarted it on the deploy node, and that worked, I think. But I'm not.
This is a deploy node.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the only node I have of this.
Yeah, really having like a hunch there is like a version mismatch because of the 9.6.14, 9.6.11.
Hmm.
So on the tracking database, what version is it? I'm not sure how we can resolve this.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it's.
Oh, that's not. So this is the same executable, okay. So shall I follow the instructions and maybe try to restart PostgreSQL on this deploy node?
I think that's. That's what we need to do.
It shouldn't matter, but I'm out of options now. So. Or maybe we should do it on the Postgres node itself. I think that's the problem. So this Postgres node is still running 9.6.11, but the library for FDW was updated, and I think it loads it during runtime, and then there's a version mismatch between the Postgres version that is running and the Postgres and the library version that is installed.
Yeah.
Or should I do it on the tracking? Well, sorry?
I think it needs to be run on the application node from my one node that I have from a call with Douglas.
Yeah, you mean the refresh table command?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true, but I was wondering whether I need to restart the Postgres node or the tracking database. And I think it should be the tracking database because it's that one that's loading in the data from the main database, and the main database doesn't really know about FDW.
Okay.
But let me run it first without doing the tracking database. If it fails again, let's restart the tracking database. And if it then fails, then I don't know.
But does this impose downtime?
Okay, it failed again. Well, a little bit, I guess. I'm not sure how fast a Postgres node restarts.
Yeah, I think it depends because it depends on what's new tables we have.
Yeah, but Valerie, the restart of Postgres should be very quick, isn't it?
Sure, it is. I mean, before we ran command db refresh foreign tables, we can have some downtime on secondary node, but it shouldn't be like very critical because in most cases we didn't change things too much, right? On tracking DB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that did work.
Okay. So it was the mismatch of the
running Postgres with the installed library version.
But now are we in a situation where the secondary is using a different database version compared to the primary?
Different, like micro version or patch version number, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But like the database format should be compatible between those versions, yeah. So it shouldn't matter.
But I think then, I think there are two things to follow up here, right? We have no documentation on this behavior, and skipping the Postgres version actually also, skipping the Postgres version update does not actually skip upgrading the Postgres version, which is why we are now in the situation where essentially we are requiring a restart of the tracking database. And that is not something that should happen, right? I would argue.
Yeah, arguable.
Because I think if we are saying, hey, actually between 12.1 and 12.2, we are upgrading the Postgres database anyways, then that upgrade will impose a little bit of downtime, and we should let people know about it, even though it is not major, right?
Yeah, but that's also, again, a thing that applies to any HA setup, even non-Geo.
Yes.
What we mentioned, like when we were doing the upgrade on the primary, then people need to restart Postgres sooner or later, but they have to do it at some point.
Yes.
And if you have that figured out, then we can look into the rest of it. Okay. Yeah, I'm considering the healthy state to be just outdated. I would assume the node is healthy. Did I do the...
No, you didn't actually.
You mean this one?
Yeah, yeah.
But also that one returns a cached value, unfortunately. Well, at least for the foreign data wrappers. Geo node does not appear to be replicating database from a primary node. Huh, that's interesting. So did we break the database replication? Because we upgraded, we restarted the Postgres server. Oh, if that's correct, then my previous statement about the versions are compatible is not true. So shall we restart the Postgres on the primary node also?
Yes.
I wish there was an easier way to see, or a faster way to see the replication lag. This is our downtime where we spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
So how long does it take before the restart of Postgres?
Well, I think for me, it's not so much about how long does it take. It's about we make...
It happens.
It happens, right? And we make statements that say we do those things, and it doesn't look like they are true for that specific update.
Yeah. I hope they reconnect automatically. Everything is broken. Yeah, probably this node also does not update. No. Okay, it does. Why is it not recovering? Error opening connection. Okay. No, not okay. Valid token. Yeah, so this page originates from the load balancer, so it also detects that both application nodes are not healthy at this point, which is already okay. That it does that. That we know the load balancer is working and the health checking. But I don't know why it's not recovering. No implicit conversion from nil into string.
I think we saw that at some point in the call beforehand.
And then it was fine, or?
I don't recall anymore.
Yeah, I didn't notice it.
So do we have to restart GitLab here, or?
Yeah, I would expect so. And I'm out of options otherwise.
Yeah.
So hub, unicorn. So when I would check this prime, yeah, but it takes a little while. It takes maybe 2 minutes before unicorn has started correctly. Oh, it's over here. Bill? Database is still lagging behind. I have no clue what's happening at this point. I'm not sure if we, or maybe it's just better to end the call here and look into it async. So the Postgres version is now, this is a secondary node. Yeah, primary node is unhealthy, so we cannot look into that.
Oh, sorry, I'm babbling and I was muted.
I wasn't looking, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I mean, the only thing we can probably do is restart everything on the secondary node, on the primary node, and see if that resolves it. But other than that, I think we need to do async.
Yeah, I'm really a bit worried that also like database application is broken, and that's not good.
No. And I think we need to follow up as soon as we can with the distribution team, because I don't understand how this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Let's end the call here.
Okay. Thanks, Tone, for all the effort, and yeah, let's follow up on the individual issues.